Unleash your inner strength to beat fatigue with Patriarch's liquid oxygen. Pure spring water, oxygenated for ultimate vitality. Refresh, detox, and empower your freedom-fighting spirit. Boost your immune system with Patriarchs, the oxygenated water designed for resilience and vitality in every sip. Use my special discount code as well to get 10% off any Patriarchs order. That's patriarchs.us/Tron. I do earn a commission every single time you do make a purchase, and it goes directly towards assisting this show. Some Nothing Tron podcast listeners, this is your host, Rashad Woods. As you all know, I'm from the Metro Detroit area, and I'm very honored and very, very appreciative of the time that's taken out for this Detroit-based company to take time on my podcast. You've seen them in your grocery stores, your gas stations, and at your local barbecues and home events for a celebration of all your good times. Phil Gusmano from Better Made Brands. Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
This is big time. This was really cool. You know, I love the story of a 100-year company based in Detroit. Your grandfather was one of the co-founders, and you've been with the company for 29 years.
You got it.
So love to hear your story and hear about the company's history. I don't want to tell it for you.
Sure. So we've been in business since 1930. So we're actually hitting we just celebrated 95 years. The 100th is coming up in about 4 years. Got some big plans for that, but that's a few years away.
That's amazing.
So we've been a City of Detroit staple since our inception. We have been in Detroit since day one, and we've been at our current location since the early 1940s. And right here on Gratiot, not too far from City Airport, and we're a proud Detroit company.
I think it's amazing when I looked up, the history is that there were 22 chip makers in Detroit when Better Made first came out. And the differentiation strategy was, we're going to call ourselves Better Made. And while the other ones fell by the wayside, here you guys are almost a century later. It's a testament to your customer base, the customer service you provide, and the quality of the products that you have.
Well, appreciate the sentiment. We just try to be a good steward of what we've been given, right? And so we try to give our customers a good product at a fair price, and we think that we succeed. We have a wide variety of snacks that appeal to a wide variety of people, and we're pretty proud of what we do. And I will say what really helps us out is the great employees that we have. We have a lot of people that have been dedicated and many, many years of experience going on in the facility.
What's amazing is, and that's fantastic, and I'm sure you have a lot of long-term employees well too, because it's reciprocated from a company that's, based in Detroit, and they're, obviously local talent and local individuals who are very dedicated to the service and quality of products you provide. I've always been fascinated by how things are made and created. So what goes on into what comes to market for a viable chip? Like test tasting, brand awareness. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss, just like any other brand that ever exists. But what is your process like?
So we start with as much local components as we can, right? Pretty much all of our potatoes come from the state of Michigan. Yeah. A lot of our seasoning is made in the state of Michigan, our corrugated, and that kind of goes to the local flair that we have, right? And so that, it's kind of a little bit off track, but it's part of our local story, right? We're a local company that buys local, so that those dollars keep turning in Michigan's economy. Yeah. And so when you're buying Better Made, you're supporting not only Better Made, but you're supporting the farmer that grew those potatoes in Michigan. You're supporting the seasoning company that's right down the street from us too. And so there's all those options. Sorry.
You're fine. Let me swim it.
Didn't answer the question. Tell me again.
Well, what's the process to bring a product to market? That's what I was,
So we take some great raw potatoes, turn them into chips. It's 7 minutes from raw potato to in a finished bag. And so we develop different flavors, and the flavors that we come up with, they come from all over different places. Sometimes we have employees that will say, "Hey, you should try this." We have some of our seasoning companies that will come up with different things, and they will say, "Here, this is what's hot. This is what's going on," and so we do try those kind of things. And so really, we're looking at all different options and where we might look for. To come up with ideas. So no one is better than the other. if someone comes with a great idea, we'll use
It's
it.
funny because you have to be.
You got something in mind?
No, I don't in particular because I love I'm a barbecue guy, so I love barbecue chips. I'm not exceptionally picky, and I love your guys' barbecue chips too because they have a really good tangy taste to them. Like it's got like that good aftertaste after you ate them, and I and
Sure.
so I always find it fascinating because you can't chase trends, but at the same time you have to be innovative. But at the same time, you also have to be going where the customer taste is going. So it's such a straddle the line, putting a viable
Sure.
product to market. You know what I mean?
Well, I think you definitely have to be cognizant of where you came
Yeah,
from, right? And what got you there, right?
absolutely.
And so, like you said, better made barbecue, better made hot
Yeah,
barbecue. Those are things that have been around longer than I
yeah.
have, and
Oh
people
my
love
goodness.
it, and people get really passionate about their chips and their
Yes,
favorite
they do.
flavors.
Yeah, they truly do. I know, man. Like I said, I'm a big fan of those barbecue ones, man. They're really tasty. Unfortunately, you look at one bag, you're like, listen, man, I'm gonna crush three of them, and I'm gonna wear. I don't care. It's not, that's just the truth because it's a small bag because you think you can just contain yourself, but then you look at the other ones subsequent with it, you're like, man, I'm just gonna dog them. I don't care, man. You know.
I'm a big fan of moderation, so 3 bags is your
Yeah,
moderate. Go for it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. So you're also the vice president of SNAC International, which I found very fascinating, and you're the chairman of that organization, which is, for those that aren't listening, the group that is the trade association for the snack food industry.
Yeah, so I am actually the chairman of the board there. Been in that position for about 9 months. SNAC International is an association that helps all snack manufacturers, both domestically and
Mhm.
internationally, to navigate uh, larger issues that come up.
Right.
And so it's been an honor to be able to serve on as a board
Mhm.
member and to help drive direction for the snacking industry.
Absolutely. And so what's great about the snack industry, obviously, is that they do need advocacy because it is a staple of a lot of people's households and things of that nature, and it breaks down misconceptions about certain products and processes. That could people could say certain things about certain foods when in reality it's a very heavily it's a massive industry in the United States. It creates thousands of jobs. It's the staple of a lot of communities. So when it comes to Better Made specifically, obviously it's Detroit based, but you guys are in 14 different states. What's the challenge that you guys have out of state with being a viable competitor in a place like maybe Ohio may not be a good example, but other places?
Sure. Well, I think really what it comes down to is the same principles that we have here in our Metro Detroit area. We try and apply, wherever we're trying to sell our
Mm-hmm.
chips, and really that's giving the customer a good quality product at a fair
Right.
price. And so I think if we can get you to try a bag once, you'll come back because it is good
Right.
quality, and we're not asking you to pay an arm and a leg for a bag of
Right, no
chips.
question. So yeah, that definitely helps, right? So at the end of the day, and it's a convenience product for a lot of people, but it's also that people buy large items of them when they do like them, especially for events and get-togethers and family events as well as things like that. So when it comes to that, the trade association and this, how broad, and it's like 400 different companies that I saw are actually part of the snack association. So were you with them before you were the chairman?
Yeah, so Better Made itself is a member of the SNAC
Hmm.
International, and so members make up both the board and the board of
Okay.
directors. And so, as part of any association, usually has a board made up of
Mhm.
members. And so, yeah, I've been actively involved in our association for, gosh, almost as long as I've been here at Better
That's
Made.
amazing. So when you started 29 years ago, what was your first level like position with the company? And
Started in the warehouse pulling orders.
nice, nice,
Like,
nice.
yeah, you know they had me picking orders and
That's beautiful.
done pretty much every job there is to do here, from picking orders to frying
Yeah,
chips, working accounts payable and sales, you name it.
absolutely, absolutely. So how does that process involve when you need to get to the front of the shelf? Or I'm not asking you to obviously give any proprietary details, but to stay competitive, the chip market is a very, very large competitive market. some with national brands, that are the Frito Lays
Sure.
of the world. So when you ask to be, at the front of the customer experience, at a grocery store with all the options that people have in front of them, what's that process like?
So, we really work hard to be available to all of our customers wherever they may be
Hmm.
looking for us. And so, we work with, the national retailers and, and then the mid-size and then even the small mom and pops. And so you can find Better Made in a huge variety of
Yeah,
stores,
you can.
from a local mom and
Yeah,
pop in rural in rural
sure.
Michigan, all the way through to some of the big supermarket chains.
Absolutely.
And so we do try and be
Right.
available. So when you go into the store and you're looking for your favorite snack,
Mhm.
they're there.
Absolutely. And what's funny is that for people who are listening who've always asked, like, why is there so much air in a bag? Well, there's a scientific reason behind it. It took a while as a kid to be like, why is there air in a bag? Because in your mind, you're like, this should be totally full to the top. But it's actually keeping the chips from getting stale, right? It's actually preserved.
So there's actually a couple of reasons that go into why is there so much air in the
Yes.
bag, right? And so I can give you the I'll give you the short version because we don't have enough time in the day to go through it. But one is the air in a bag, which we actually nitrogen flush
Okay.
ours, so that takes oxygen out and it helps to ensure that you get a quality
Yeah.
product. But that bag has that filled to help protect the
Right.
chips, right? So if it was too flat or too small, the chips would be all broken.
Yeah.
And yeah, people like to joke they're all broken anyhow, but I can't. When they leave this facility, they're in good
Yes.
shape. I can't control how you put them in your
Yeah.
cart and how you take them
No
home, right?
question.
So that's one thing. The other thing is, if you take a look at potatoes don't come all in the same
No.
size, right? You may have one the size of a golf ball, you may have one the size of a
Yeah.
tennis
Yeah. Yeah.
ball, and you may have one the size of a grapefruit.
Yes.
So when you're putting that into a bag of chips, you have to be aware that certain size
Mhm.
potatoes fit into a bag to make up that weight. And so you have to actually size a bag of
Mhm.
chips for the worst case scenario, really big
Yeah.
chips, right? And so think about it. If I get 1 ounce of really big
Yeah.
chips versus 1 ounce of chips that are that
Mhm.
big, it looks different in that
Yes, it
bag.
does. Yes, it does. Yeah. So the science behind it in the packaging. Even when you say like nitrogen, right? Like the average person isn't really thinking, of the breadth and depth of what it takes to actually package fresh food. I've watched like the history of the history of food on the Food in America on the History Channel or the Food Network or something like that, and like
Yep.
the levels that they have gone past to where it was, hey, if you didn't make it in the 3 hours before it was served to somebody, preserving food for people who aren't listening is really a most recent concept to where it used to be, because it used to be poisonous. It used to have a lot of bad things that happen to people.
Sure.
And as science came in and preserving food came in, it's able to last on the shelf for time to still be fresh for people to consume it. There's a lot of safety involved with
Sure.
this.
So I would say we don't necessarily put preservatives into our food.
Oh no.
And so if you look at a bag of chips, a bag of original chips is potatoes, oil, and
Right.
salt, right? And so you look at really one of the biggest factors you have in food spoiling is
Yeah.
moisture, right?
Yeah.
And so the way we cook our food, the way we cook our chips, it's a very low
Yes.
moisture finished product. And so naturally, you're able to extend the life of that product
Wonderful.
just by cooking.
Wonderful. Do you all ever expand outside of just chips? In the offerings that you have as far as
Sure, we're a full fledged snack
yeah.
company. We have potato chips, we have
Mhm.
popcorn, potato sticks, some delicious tortilla
Mhm.
chips, pretzels, pork rinds. I mean, you name it. If there's a snack, we're going to try and put it out there and make our customers happy.
That's fantastic. I've been so consumed with just eating your guys' chips, so I'll have to make sure that I look at the other product offerings as well too, to see what you guys have. I've seen your chips all the time, right? And I've probably eaten other snacks and
Sure.
didn't even think that that was yours when the time that I was consuming it. But I've been so fascinated with trying to touch base on the show with Detroit-based companies, and you guys have been around for so long. And what I also thought was very fascinating is the ability of the actual chip making process, right? Like, how do you guys source like a viable vendor of who's actually supplying you guys potatoes? Because you say that they're Michigan based, but you obviously have to have some quality systems
Sure.
in place, of who can of the quality control.
Sure. So a lot of what we do is really relationship based, right? We're a family owned company, and we deal with a lot with family farms. And so a lot of the suppliers that we have, we've been doing business with for 60, 70
Yep.
years, 3, 4 generations.
Right.
So there's an understanding of what kind of quality that we need,
Mhm.
and so that being provided to us is really not even a question of how, but it's just an expectation,
Absolutely.
right? They know what we need, and they're willing to accommodate us to make sure that our customers get a good quality product. You'd be amazed at how many growers actually take pride in selling, Michigan potatoes to a Michigan-based processing facility. They get excited when we send them bags of chips and say, "Hey, your potatoes are in this bag." That you can see people like they go, "Wow, I this was in my
Mhm.
field, and now this is in my
Yeah,
mouth." And
yeah,
so it's a really great circle to bring 360 degrees and say, look, you grew this, and you're eating the fruits of your labor.
absolutely. Do you find that, and that's a wonderful story too. Do you find that there are certain peak times where people are purchasing chips more? I have to imagine, once like particularly
Oh,
like
sure,
Memorial Weekend's coming up, like you guys are planning ahead
sure,
3 and 4 months of when seasons are hitting. Summer's going to be gangbusters for potato chips, right?
sure. So here's a fun fact about a really, I'm gonna give you like insight into one of the busiest holidays, and you'll never
I
guess
would
it. Like you could guess it.
really like Valentine's Day. That's not
Nope,
a holiday, right? So let me try this again. Is it Thanksgiving?
no. So it is, believe it or not, Mother's
Are
Day.
you serious?
Yeah, Mother's Day. All right, think about it, right? Mother's Day rolls around. It's starting to get a little bit
Yeah,
warm.
yeah.
And you're going to go cook for your mom. But because it's getting warm, you're going to have a barbecue. And what goes good with a barbecue, right?
Chips.
You got to have your chips.
Yeah.
So the Mother's Day phenomenon is a real thing, right?
Oh wow.
People, the the husbands, the
Mhm.
fathers, and the kids. Hey, let's barbecue for mom. Let's have some
Yeah, and
chips.
then they have company over, and then if they have siblings, kids,
Yeah.
etc., it just becomes a lot.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even, that was never on my mind actually, because the first thing I would have thought was like, I was thinking Fourth of July, and then Labor Day.
Sure. Great. It's a great holiday. We sell a ton. We sell a ton on 4th of July. We sell a ton on a lot of the
Yeah,
holidays, but the Mother's Day phenomenon is
that's
real.
awesome. That's sensational.
You gotta love your mom.
Oh, for sure. The other thing about it is that it's funny because it'll creep up on you. Like you'll see the notification on your phone, and you're like, oh my gosh, this thing's like 10 days out. Like I got to suddenly start scrambling here, right? Because it's
Yep.
log jammed, and I say this respectfully because I love my mother, between Easter and Memorial, and then you'll find out like the second week because that's when movies really start coming out too, right? That's the start of the summer blockbuster season, so to speak, too.
Yep.
So I guess that makes a lot of sense, right? It's like people's mind and school is getting over, etc. So, um, what do people for this show? Because you guys are so successful, and I certainly want to be respectful of your time. What can people know about Phil Gusmano, your history, your background, and Better Made Brands?
Well, my background is first and foremost, I love Jesus. He is my
Yep.
savior. So I give all the glory to him. I try and treat people the way that I would like to be
Mm.
treated, and so I try to be as fair as possible. My word is my bond, and I am more than willing to work with people to come to common goals. And so I definitely think it's important to treat people right, and you give them the time of day, and you be respectful, and you just look at that. That's just a universal thing, right? Part of the reason why I'm happy to talk to you is I had the time,
Yeah.
and give people the time of day. Be
Yeah.
respectful. If you teach somebody anything, right, is if they can go on and be respectful and teach other people the same.
Right.
That we're
It's
better
not
off.
exactly a foreign concept. It's not really difficult, right? Like it's to
Right.
be a halfway.
Well, you Some people don't subscribe to that point of view, but
Yeah, there's no question.
I really what it comes down to is I want you to feel when we get done with this conversation that I have a respect for you and that I appreciate who you are and what you do.
I certainly
And so you just treat people that way, and it works.
it certainly goes both ways because I sent the email and then I got an email back from a member of your team, and you do like a double take, and you guys are, like I said, an exceptionally large company, local, and you certainly didn't have to reply back to my inquiry, and I'm certainly not here to waste anybody's time. So I'm glad that there was some valuable insights into your company and what you do in your history, and you're willing to share it with the show.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I appreciate what you do. Do it well, and if I can help you out, someday you'll be able to help somebody else out. So that's all good.
That's what the world is all about. So I want to take time out for Phil Gusmano, Better Made Brands, and they're local based. If you've seen their brands, trust me, ladies and gentlemen, you've had it in your car, you fed it to your kids, it's at your barbecues, all sorts of variety of snacks, but especially the chips. So this is Rashad Woods, and it really means a lot to me that a local Michigan, Detroit-based company is willing to take time out on my show, and I'm honored that you did so.
Rashad, it's been a pleasure, and make sure you remember your mom on Mother's Day.
She listens to every episode, so now I definitely can't forget. So thank you.
There you go. Bag of chips for
I
mom.
promise you that, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. I'll send you the link. I'll send it to your team. It's on every I'm on all the major podcasting platforms as well too. Yes, that is amazing. And I really appreciate it. I'll make sure I actually do that before right when I get off, actually. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.